So I was walking down the street with Shrug and I saw a dozen frescoes. On the dozenth fresco was some dust too, and I said, "Sure, dust that fresco." And he took out his pubic hair, not his dick or his balls, just his pubic hair. It was like 3 feet long and the color of the sky at dusk. 3. He should not apply it with force. He just whipped it out and drew it back and whipped it out and drew it back, and after a time he began to weep and the tears flowed down his great grandfather's coat and into his overflowing shock of pubic hair. 4. And he said to me, "I grew this out to remind me of the woman that broke my." 5. And then he stopped and turned back to the fresco there beside the highway. And seeing there a speck of dust, he began to softly whisper to himself the lyrics of Kanye West's Monster. 6. Have you ever had sex with a pharaoh? I put the pussy in a sarcophagus. Now she claiming I bruised her esophagus. Head of the class and she just wanna swallow shit. 7. And as he said this, I could see the realization of the pun dawning in his eyes, and he fell down upon his knees, and he wept, for he saw then that Toops was the white Kanye. 8. And so he gathered up his pubic hair, and he took a knife within his hand, and he cut his hair, and he piled it upon the fresco, and he spoke the words his father had taught him. 9. I love all aspects of the Toops except for rap and country. 10. And I stood upon the sidewalk there beside the Shurg. I did SB in the distance, a bike, and upon it rode mean Mr. Mustoops. As he passed, he did cry out the good news of jugs. 11. And then in that moment the Lord did place a stumbling block before the bike, and his monk of Toops did tumble from his seat, and his face did collide with the pile of sacrificial Shurg pubes there upon the fresco. 12. And mean Mr. Mustoops became one with the fresco through the purifying mouthful of Shurg bush. 13. And Shurg did leap up and cry out in a great, though still pretty monotone voice, that this fresco would no longer have upon it dust. 14. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon me, bleak, for I am bleak, and I did rise to the very tips of my toes and spring forward and onto the fresco, and with my face did I shove aside the pubes, and with my tongue I did find the final speck of dust, and so wave it from the fresco face. 15. And so the fresco stood, unmarred by dust, and all was well in the sight of the Lord. 16. And the done we did move. I'm sorry. And this done we did move on down the road, and we came upon a man from Egypt, and Shurg said, "The exits." 17. It was not the exit. 18. I smote Shrug upon his head, and he did quail. 19. But then the man became a door, and I saw that he actually was the exit, and I was all sorry, bros, if I didn't realize. 20. Then it was a little hard to get through the regular man-shaped door, and when we were through, there was another fresco, and upon it was some dust. 21. Shurg, now shorn of his public mane, and with it his love, was forced to resort to his dust buster, and the dust was busted, and so we saw. 22. 115. One needs a mallet to remove a boulder. 23. We had no mallet. 24. And so I drew my dick from my pants, and Shurg said, "The boulder is not yet upon us, and we are not upon the boulder." And I said, "Oh, I will be all up on the boulder." And Shurg did flinch. 25. And for his transgression the Lord smote him upon the cheek, and a bruise did raise, and then I flagellated the bruise with my dick until it was hard. 26. And then we passed on down the long and twisting hall. 27. And we came to a hole in a wall, and from it emerged Draco, and he was like, "Unto me, bleak, for I am bleak, but for the strange gray cast of his skin, which we could see well, for he was nude and also oiled." 28. And seeing this oil, we asked, "From where have you come, Draco?" 29, and he did not answer, replying, "From where did you come, Bleak?" 30, and I said, "Draco, Shrug and I have traveled long and far, and we would know to where we are going." 31, and Draco said, "Bleak shirt." God, I can't keep that up.